Greetings, MPI family. This is Ryan Mack, and boy, I tell you, you all share with me good news in our multiple talks almost every day at this point. But I'll tell you, there's some particular good news that has got me giddy on the inside. Man, shout out to Daniel and Esmeralda. No point in me trying to harp about it. Let me just show you what they did.
Everybody clap, yay! Woo! Oh, it's so cute.
That's right, Daniel, you're too smooth for me. Congratulations, Daniel and Esmeralda, for bonding and taking that next step. You know I had to do a video about it. And you know, Daniel, I'm not even mad now. You know we had to have a call last Saturday that you missed, but that's all right. I'm not even tripping. I figured you were out celebrating with your new bride-to-be, but we have to get that call together to sit down between you and Esmeralda to talk about financial education tips for couples. In the meanwhile, I said, you know what? There's a lot of other folks that are either thinking about getting engaged or might have recently gotten engaged or maybe are married. So let me do a financial education tips for couples, all right? Because it's very important. So if for Daniel and Esmeralda or for anybody out there that wants to do a couple session to talk about their financial education tips, please schedule some office hours. But in the meanwhile, here are 10 tips that you need to think about if you're thinking about getting engaged or already engaged. Check them out. Number 1, creating a joint budget. Sit down and write down exactly what your expenses are together and review that budget regularly. Number 2, setting financial goals. Remember, just because you're getting engaged doesn't mean you're not going to have individual goals. So you're going to have individual as well as couple goals. Make sure you're meeting regularly, at least once a month, to review the couple goals to see how we're making in progress on our decision to buy that home, to retire, whatever it may be, and individual goals, making sure you're asking your partner and really listening. How can I support you to start that business? How can I support you on your decision to go back to school? How can I support you to create that new habit of whatever it is you decide to do with your spare time? Individual goals as well as couple goals. Now is your time to be that support network to help each other to meet those goals. Number 3, work out your account situation. Now, we have some couples that want to have totally separate accounts. We have some couples that want to have only a joint account where everything is completely merged. Most of the people and the couples that I've worked with over the years, hundreds of couples, have some combinations of both. But let me tell you, there's no wrong answer. The only answer is the answer that's wrong. That is the answer that's not talked about. It's the one that's not discussed. So whatever you decide to do, whatever your system is in your household, sit down, talk about it, and figure out exactly how you're going to organize your finances. Number 4, communicate. You have to keep talking. Again, at least once a month. I'm going to say that a few times throughout this video because you don't want a month to pass by without an open and honest, transparent conversation about your finances with each other. Communicate. Let me tell you something. The biggest reason for arguments that I've seen when it comes to money, because people always say that money is one of the biggest reasons for individuals to break up. Well, one of the biggest reasons is surprises. I didn't know you had that money stashed away. I didn't know you had a gambling issue. I didn't know you had bad credit. It's the surprises. Surprises followed by a lack of willingness to try to fix the problems. So communicate, talk, share. Be non-judgmental. There's no judgment. And this is why counseling, again, meet with me. Let's sit down and let's work through these things together. Sometimes it's good to have a person like myself to be a third-party arbitrator, listening with no judgment to how do you get together to resolve these issues and help that line of communication stay open. Number 5, review your debt plan. Now is the time that you all can help each other to figure out what items of debt do you have. We've already sent that template out. Make sure your partner, Daniel, make sure Esmeralda fills out the debt template as well, that you both look at each other's debt. How can you pay it off? What are we going to do to make sure we can get beyond this debt to start working on saving for retirement? Number 6, get that emergency fund created. The emergency fund is critical to making sure that your investment strategy can be sustained. You don't want to have to try to liquidate stocks or put money out of an IRA or a 401k account because you had a leaky roof or your car breaks down. The emergency fund helps you sustain your investment strategy for the long run. It also makes sure you can get through those periods and times, because I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest things we can always count on in life is change. The emergency fund is going to help you get through those times of change and make sure you can prepare for it. Number 7, consider what needs you have for insurance. Make sure you sit down and talk. Now, again, we talked about this in class. There's a big difference between affordability and need. It's never about how much insurance you can afford, because now your income is going to be merged. It's about how much you need. Affordability is great when it comes to many insurance agents that want to get that higher commission, say, hey, they can afford to buy a whole lot more and get my commission check to be through the roof. It's not about how much you can afford. It's how much do you need. So do the life insurance needs analysis. Do an analysis of your benefits at your company. Work together to see if there are different packages that you might have. Daniel, you might have a better package at your job. Esmeralda, you might have a better benefits package at your job. Which one of you has a better package that you can put the other on to make sure you can reduce your overall cost of insurance? Life, disability, health, all those things can be analyzed. If you need help with that, let's sit down and talk about them during office hours. Number 8, plan for wedding expenses. Daniel and Esmeralda, I'm going to keep calling you out because I think you all got this right. They're going to have a small and quaint wedding to make sure they can focus on the relationship. I can't tell you how many couples I've counseled over the years where they've opened up their relationship and their marriage with a huge bill of debt because they had to have this extravagant wedding, that now they have to have this storm over their relationship of paying off all this debt that was incurred just because of an event. And the event is not as important as the relationship. It's the focus that you all have on each other. I know many people, hundreds even, that have gotten justice of the peace marriages, and they're still together today because they focused on the relationship and not the event. The event brings debt, the event brings stress, and a whole lot of unnecessary things that are added onto your relationship, and I want to make sure that you don't have any stress about money. Let's talk about it. But Daniel, Esmeralda, you two got that right. Kudos to you. Tip number 9, plan for the future. Listen, when you come together, now it's time for both of you to figure out what is our retirement going to look like. You know, in our classes, we talk about this a lot in terms of your retirement plan. We do a budget for when you're 75 or a budget for when you're 80, where you project what will your expenses look like when you're 75 or 80 years of age. And then you plan and account accordingly how much it's going to cost for you to save to get to that level to pay for those expenses when you're in your retirement years. When you come together as a couple, you can merge your expenses. You can come together and figure out, when do you want to retire? When do I want to retire? How can we help each other support these goals? Let's invest in each other to make sure that we can get to those goals. Because ideally, when you all get to that retirement age, you're not going to have any debt. You're going to have managed expenses and a level of savings that can cover your expenses where you can enjoy each other's time in your golden years. You all are getting married young. You have a lot of time to prepare for it, but now is the time to start thinking ahead and investing in your future. And number 10, check in regularly and stay flexible. Every single month, and sometimes maybe every 2 weeks even, you want to make sure that you can get up maybe before the kids are up, or maybe set aside some time to get a sitter and go out to a coffee shop and sit down and talk about your finances. And stay flexible. The one guarantee in life is we're going to have a lot of change. Don't judge, expect change, and be there to support each other through that change. I'm so proud of you, Daniel and Esmeralda, and MPI family. For all those that are out there thinking about getting married, or if you are married, let's sit down and talk about some office hours and figure out exactly what you need to do to get together and get on the same accord as a couple. This is the level of services that I'm so excited to prepare for, because, boy, I tell you, I get so excited when I see the progress and I see the light bulbs going on in each other to say, wow, we really can get together and support each other and not have finances be such a stressful part of a relationship. So let me help you with that. Set up some office hours. One more time, boy, I'm so giddy for you, Daniel and Esmeralda. And anybody else out there, come on, let's set up some office hours. See you soon. Peace.